My father angrily went into my room to scold me in the middle of the night. How am I supposed to handle situations like this in the future? On a phone, so I'm sorry for my English. First of all, I want to clarify that I know I'm in the wrong in the situation and that I was childish. A few nights ago, I went to the bathroom at 1:25 and pressed up the switch of my bathroom, and immediately after that, the light bulb failed. I got in the bathroom regardless, and, when I got out of nowhere, I wanted to check other light sources if they were fine, and from what I've checked, none of them worked. I looked outside at the neighboring block and saw some people having no problems with the lights, so it wasn't a general blackout in my area. Also to note, the other electric sources were fine. After that, I was worried that there might have been some sort of damage on the electric system. A problem that I don't know if might cause problems for the long run, like not having lights for a while if we don't fix it right now. I know. I was paranoid. I wasn't sure if I should wake up Dad, because I thought it might also be just something small, but I decided to text my mother at 1:30, sending a message of what it's happening, she was working, and asking her it's okay to wake him up. She texted back saying that I should wake him up, and did just that, and I told him what's happening. After that, I went to bed and let him do what he thinks fits. But at 1:45, he entered my room asking me, "Are you out of your mind? Or you don't have mind in Romania?" He was angry and started to raise his voice at me. I would have said shouting, but it doesn't seems fitting, asking why I'm sending messages this late at night to worry Mom. She texted him too, and he said that it is immature to call them for small things. But the way he said it, by comparing me with a baby, and his reaction was real exaggerated in my point of view and generally using insults. I told him that he is waking up my sister, and he left upset. First of all, yes, I should have known that this is not a big problem, and it was nothing that couldn't wait till the morning, and it doesn't need a call from Mommy too. I also sent messages in the middle of the night that could have made my mother worried for our safety, or thinking something bad happened. Not to mention my mom could have also been asleep and wake her up. She is a nurse, but Siobhanly participate on operations, which does give her some time to sleep during night shifts. Not to mention this was overall not mature from my side. But the way my father reacted, he was like I did something seriously bad and like I had ill intent, although nothing bad transpired from it. Now, I'm not thinking those calls he used were that bad, but he still felt like he has to insult me. I feel like all of this could have been said less aggressively and more calm. I'm honestly thinking if I should have just ignored him. He isn't not like that most of the time, and way he acted is very occasionally. My mom, although on my side, she said that's how she is and nothing needs to be changed. So she probably doesn't want to insist on a change. She even cried when I stared to point out my disagreements with how he acts, saying that he loves me. And I don't see him apologizing since that morning, when my mom came home. Dad was still thinking the same, very first discussion when she entered the house. So nothing will probably change. I want some advice on what to do next time he acts like this. I was thinking I should just tell him we will talk when you calm down, and if he insists, I'll tell him I have no obligation to engage in a discussion I don't want. If he continues, I'll slightly raise my voice and say no means no. Now stop. If he have a reaction I find exaggerated, I'll say common. Don't dramatize such silly things. And if someone says that I should be more obedient, I'll just say all I'm doing is putting my foot down. That's choice, and if he doesn't like it, that's his choice. I don't know. It seems like enough, but I do want to hear people's thoughts on that. Comment. He just seems to be quite grumpy that you woke him up mainly. I mean, how would you feel if you got woken up at 2 a.m. because a light isn't working? I don't blame you though, because it could have been hazardous, but people think differently. I don't like having problems like this. I usually would just sweep it under the carpet and let him get his anger out and maybe say a couple words and try to stay calm during the situation. There's no point arguing with him because he's your dad. You're not going to win unless if you have your mom on your side. Next time as well, I'd probably only talk to your dad if it's a serious problem that you are 100% know it's serious, because your dad might not even known that you found the light was broken. Imagine if he discovered it himself. If you didn't cause it, then you shouldn't be taking the blame. AHHIC, it seems like rather it was a thing where he got up and he was gonna be mad if he thought you wasted his time. Because if he wasn't mad at the beginning, I'm sure it's because of that. Your mom also giving him a headache with calls and such, and I'm sure as well your dad cares about her, not wanting her to panic, etc. I also have speculations that Eastern European dads are like that sometimes, getting angry if you've wasted their time. If you think about another time where you wasted his time, was the outcome similar? Next story 2. I think my boyfriend failed at cheating on me with my best friend. Did he cheat? If so, what do I do now? There is so many specifics to this story, but I couldn't possibly type it all here. This past weekend, my friends, partner, and I went on a trip. 3 of our group were playing Truth or Dare while the others were resting or whatever. I was not a part of that group, but my partner was. The game ended and it wasn't anything crazy according to the other 2 friends involved. So next night, he texts my friend to play Truth or Dare again. She agrees since it was friendly back and forth the night before. The play a few rounds with him bring up the fact that what's said stays between them throughout the game multiple times. It eventually leads to him daring her to make out with him. Once she rejected the idea and said she would never do something like that, he steps back and says it was a joke. They go their separate ways and my friend tells my other friend what happened. I don't know what to do. My friends believe it's a reason to end things. He tried to cheat and didn't succeed because he chose the wrong one. I would have never expected something like this from him, especially to try something like this with my best friend. He is super involved in my life and my family's lives. He knows all of my friends and has been accepted with open arms. But I know that 100% when it comes to my loved ones, there is no coming back from this for him. It'll never be the same. I am hurt and still in shock. This weekend was almost perfect and I have never gotten any red flags like this from him before. He has even been cheated on before and has spoken about how much it hurt him. I am very angry and confused. I will be talking to him on Friday, but for now will be acting like usual but with some distance. I need an opinion from an outsider. I have never been in a situation like this before. I don't even know what to say to him. I need help. Comment. I think just messaging your friend to play Truth or Dare was such a huge red flag from the get-go. Even if he didn't dare her to make out with him, just the fact that he asked your friend, which I assume he doesn't know that well since she is your friend, to play that game and keep it between them is not the behavior of someone who is loyal. I think the trust between you and him has been broken, and as you said, your loved ones don't like him now. I think your next options are very clear. I disagree with the other commenter. I think he was serious and it being over text was him testing the waters. For me that would be a reason to end it and definitely keep the friend. This is difficult. Firstly, good on your best friend for having your back. She's a keeper. If it were me, and I were in a relationship, I would never say something like that even as a joke. Some people have a sense of humor like that, though. However, Truth or Dare is notoriously a game where you ask people to do extreme things. It was also over text, which in my mind increases the possibility it was a joke. It doesn't change the fact that it was out of order from him. I think the question you need to ask yourself is, do you feel able to continue with the relationship after this? It sounds like it severely damaged your trust in him, which is totally understandable. If you no longer feel able to trust him, then I would push you towards ending the relationship. A relationship is nothing without trust. Best of luck and I hope your pain heals quickly. Next story 3. How can I stop feeling like the third wheel between my girlfriend and my friend? I have been with my girlfriend Sarah for 2 years. We're uni students in Toronto, and she's the love of my life. Our relationship has been great, we moved in together, we love each other, never fight, and if something's bothering us we communicate well and sort it out together. It's clear that we're going to get married in the future, and we both expressed this. When we first started dating, I introduced her to one of my very close friends, Kyle. Kyle is an out man who was raised by a single mother, and he has told me before that he finds it easier connecting with women than men, which I completely understand. My girlfriend and him became friends very quickly, but it didn't take very long at all before Sarah was closer friends with Kyle than I ever was. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. But recently, it has escalated to the point where it's beginning to make me a little uncomfortable, and I feel as though whenever the three of us are together, even if it's in a group setting, I am the third wheel between my girlfriend and Kyle. And it's not like I'm out there killing the vibe or anything, we have a great time. But there are small things that kind of hurt my feelings a bit and I can't explain why. For example, the other day she casually mentioned that, because her work is near his dorm, she went to his dorm and the two of them started watching a reality TV show together from the beginning. I didn't really think there was anything wrong with this, but for some reason, it felt a little uncomfortable to imagine just the two of them sitting on his bed watching Netflix together. That being said, I did not express any of this outwardly because that wouldn't be right, neither of them were doing anything wrong. Flash forward to last night, Sarah comes home and says she has plans to go over to Kyle's place and watch more of that show. She then asked if I wanted to come as well. I said sure, why not. She texted him that I was now a part of the plan as well, and then we headed out. This is the thing I'm pretty embarrassed to admit hurt my feelings. We were standing outside Kyle's front door, and she calls him, and whenever she was referencing us, she kept saying I'm here, I'm outside. It was such a small thing, and I know she meant nothing by it, but in that moment, I felt a little hurt because it felt to me like I was an afterthought. Then at the end of the night when it was time to leave, after we had a great time, something happened that kind of broke the camel's back. She was already down the 4 front steps leading up to his front door, when he said bye, and held out his arms for a hug. They were like 10 feet away from each other, and she walked back up the stairs and gave him a big hug, right before he gave me a wave goodbye. Let's be super clear on this, I have not acted on any of these feelings. No decision I have made has been impacted by these feelings I'm having, because to do so feels unreasonable. Whenever it happens, I suffer in silence because talking about it or bringing down the mood in any way wouldn't help anything, and it wouldn't be fair to either of them who I assume are just really good innocent friends. I trust my girlfriend and I know that there's not a snowball's chance in hell that she would ever be unfaithful. The only decision I have made because of this is to occasionally stay home when there's a plan that involves Kyle, because to be honest, this is making it hard to enjoy spending time with him because all I can think about is this relationship he has with my girlfriend that doesn't seem to have any boundaries. It's not either of their fault, I just am uncomfortable by it, and this isn't the first time that we've had to talk to Kyle about this. About a year ago in a thrift shop, he made a pretty uncomfortable joke that involved Sarah's genitals which made her uncomfortable, which I absolutely hate, but it also made me uncomfortable because he was the one saying it. We talked with him about it after we got home and he was quick to apologize, but I don't know how genuine he was. I know that these jealous feelings are not normal and I might get some comments calling me possessive or toxic, but I just want to reiterate that this is not the case because I have acted on these feelings in no way. I haven't so much as broken my smile when these things happen. It's all just up there in my head. I guess I'm just asking how I can stop feeling like this, and if anyone knows why I might be feeling like this, that would be great.